just don't know when to quit.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Wow. Are you guys seeing this? I need a weapon.
Hello there.
He with you?
I thought yours was you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Slav. How's it going? That was really dumb. Anyways, so what's going on? Sorry I wasn't here last night. Internet outage yet again in my area. I am over it. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I need a new service provider so badly. But hopefully one day we'll get one around here. Anyways, I'm glad you all can make it. Again, sorry that I wasn't here last night, but I'm here today. We have some things to talk about. Universal, Paramount, Marvel Studios, Warner Brothers Discovery. So much to talk about, as well as Superman and other things. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And to get through all of this with me is none other than the great, the mighty, Derpy Entertainment. What is going on, Derpy?
What's going on, Slav? How are we, everyone?
I am good. I hope everything's been going well with you. It's been a while.
The Mighty Derpy?
That's what I said, the Mighty Derpy Entertainment. Is that not right? Is that not how it should go?
How about the Legendary?
The
How about
legendary Derpy
Yeah.
Entertainment.
I'm doing great, Slav. I'm doing great. The last movie I went to was Freakier Friday. That was decent.
That's cool. I haven't gotten to see that yet. I do want to see it.
I've had a great week. How about you besides your internet?
Honestly, it hasn't been bad. Besides work, last week I was under the weather most of the week, so that really sucked. But this week has been pretty good. Just really busy getting the kids ready for school. I mean, we have 5 kids in the household that are going to be heading to school starting on Monday. So just getting them all ready to go to school.
That's crazy.
That's no fun. And I'm kicking cat toys around. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's going on. So we got some people in the chat here, as normal. Let's see. What do we got? We got Critic Chris in here. It says, hey, everyone. What's going on? I keep kicking cat toys, so that sucks. What's going on, Critic Chris? Let's see. We got Donovan Martin in here talking about Matt Jarbo, freaking out about him. Yeah, I did see Donovan sent it to me right before the show. Apparently, Matt Jarbo commented on one of my videos I posted on Twitter. So I ranted about Jeff Snyder last week. I don't know if you caught that. I was ranting about him.
I think I missed that.
And it's funny.
That must have been golden.
Apparently, Jeff Snyder even saw my rant, which is kind of hilarious, because he commented on my Twitter feed and then blocked me. So I thought that's kind of funny. But Matt Jarbo.
Oh, that's legendary.
Yeah, Matt Jarbo said something about me and how, I'm just wrong about everything. I think I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't, because it's just, I look at everything through fandom eyes and what have you. But regardless, I don't really care what he has to say, because he's wrong 99.9% of the time. And, in my rant of freaking out at Jeff Snyder, did I over-exaggerate? Did I overextend what I was saying? Absolutely, because, I'm being very, animated in how I'm going at Jeff Snyder there. And obviously Matt Jarbo takes it as, gospel, and he tries to come at me with it. And one of the things I said was that James Gunn could, end his career, something along those lines. I was like, James Gunn could call up another, any studio head and just be like, yeah, enough with him. And first off, that isn't really wrong. I mean, James Gunn could absolutely call up those at Warner Brothers Pictures and say, look, don't give anything to him, and work with people at Warner Brothers, work with Kevin Feige, work with those that like him and trust him around Hollywood, and say, look, this guy, don't work with him. That's something that James Gunn could absolutely do if he chose to, if he was that petty. I don't know if he is. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. If he wanted to try and end Jeff Snyder's career in that way, he could. Personally, I think he should, but that's me. But regardless, that's besides the point. But Matt Jarbo's like, he can't do that. I mean, he could. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying that James Gunn himself is going to sit there and quote unquote like end his career himself, but he could definitely make calls and say, look, this guy is a cancer. We need to put a stop to him, and the people like him, so let's find a way to do that. That's what I'm saying. But, Matt Jarbo, you know how he is. So Trayvon's in here, but he's talking to Donovan in there. So what's going on, Trayvon? Who else we got? Nobody else right now. Wow. I mean, it says 57. We got 57 people watching, so 58 people watching. So
58.
Guys, if you're watching, comment, hit that like button. I want to hear what you guys are saying. What's going on, everyone? Glad to see you. Glad to see what you're coming on. Trayvon says, what Slav said about Jeff Snyder was the stone cold truth. Jeff is the definition of a beta male. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we're going to move on here because I want to get into the topics. Again, some of these, we're going to hit things such as talking about Universal, and actually, let's just kind of get into it because this, I'm actually excited about this. I discussed this, I guess it was probably a month or two ago. There was discussion about the Jason Bourne series being up for sale. I think I mentioned that I wanted Amazon to grab it because I was like, oh, what if Amazon grabs it and then they have like a Jason Bourne, James Bond type of thing? And I thought it'd be hilarious or cool. But this here, I think that now that we see what happened and Universal winning the rights back for Jason Bourne, I think is great. Netflix tried, Apple tried, number of studios tried to get the rights back or get the rights, but Universal ended up getting them back. They had them for years, but they get them back now. The Robert Ludlum estate got them back not long ago. They put them up for a bidding war to see what studio could get them. It looks like Universal is going to then take the rights and make shows, make movies, and kind of just build this whole universe and franchise out of it. And I don't expect Matt Damon to come back into the fold, which I guess is fine. I mean, Matt Damon is what? He's like 60 years old at this point. I don't know. He's in his 50s. But either way, like I think it's time to get some fresh blood in there. But I'm excited. I love the series. I think this is a series that has been needing to have a resurgence. Let's not forget that this is the series that reinvigorated the spy genre in the 2000s. Without the Jason Bourne series, like the first one, Bourne Identity and stuff like that, we don't get the Daniel Craig 007 films that redefined the 007 series. So this series is really important, and I hope that they treat it well and it moves forward in caring hands, shall I say, in that way. What do you think? Are you a fan of the Bourne series?
My father is. I've never actually witnessed the Bourne films, but
that's disappointing.
Matt Damon is 54.
Yeah.
So it is time to move on to a new, younger actor, maybe like 30s, late 20s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe go with an unknown actor, and then who knows who'll buy it, but it's got to be written by someone that's, unknown too, maybe. I don't know if they'll base it off the... isn't there books, right?
There are books, yes. Yeah.
Isn't there books?
Yep.
Then yeah, I would base it off the books, but and probably do the same thing they're doing with Harry Potter. Maybe get more in depth or something, as they say. But I might have to watch that. I might have to watch them. I'm gonna be real. I might have to. What platform is it on, Slav?
What? Well, it's Universal, so I mean, it could be on Peacock right now. I haven't looked. I actually own them all on Blu-ray. I bought them years ago on Blu-ray.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but yeah, I haven't looked for them on streaming. But because it's Universal, it's probably on Peacock if they're anywhere. But they could, That would be my guess. I don't know.
Okay.
They're excellent films. I mean, if you like that spy genre,
you said that
they're
they're
excellent.
selling it.
Say that again?
You said that they're like selling the property, like
So
the IP
so the
to a
IP
new.
originally the IP was under Universal for a couple decades, and then the IP reverted back to the Ludlum estate, the author who created Jason Bourne and the whole Bourne series. It reverted back to the estate,
Okay.
and they put it up for bidding, and Universal got it back. It was in a bidding war. Netflix, Apple, and some other studios were bidding for it, but ultimately Universal won the bidding war and got it back. So they're back to making the Bourne film. So it'll stay at Universal essentially.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. Let's see. We got Glimmercast in here. Says, "Evening, Slav. Buddy. Hit the like
yeah,
button."
they might.
All right. So there's a rumor about, or not so much a rumor, but Zach Crager, the director of Weapons, has stated
I've
he
seen it, but I heard it's awesome.
It's not my kind of movie, honestly. Anyways, he stated he completed a script for a DC Comics-based movie set in Gotham City. Now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, this project would be titled Henchman, and it focuses on a low-level henchman in the Gotham crime world who gains notoriety after managing to incapacitate Batman through a stroke of luck. The trade adds that the Dark Knight could appear briefly in the movie, while Harley Quinn and Joker are in the project as well. Now, Crager hasn't actually pitched the prospective movie to DC Studios, as far as they are aware. He also has, I think, one or two more movies, maybe even 3 movies in the chain that he wants to get made before this would even be something that he does. But I want to know, what are your thoughts? Is this something that you would like to see done in the DCU? Is this something that sounds interesting to you?
Well, I've heard that it's basically Batman would be like stalking them. I don't know if you heard that part.
I didn't hear that part.
He would be like, yeah, he would be like basically stalking them. He wouldn't be like, you wouldn't see it from his perspective. He'd basically be hunting them down or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the case, sign me up. Sign me up, because we haven't had that kind of perspective to see the villains from those specific villains.
Yeah.
Even the henchmen.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be interesting. I think it would be a different way to approach the idea of a comic DC universe. I think they need to approach it from a different way. They can't keep going the same direction and doing the things that they've been doing for the last 20, 30 years. And, just here's a superhero, here's the mission, here's a little bit of an issue they have to deal with, or what have you, no, let's do something a little bit different. Let's focus on a henchman. Let's have the hero actually as a background character, that kind of thing. I think it's interesting. I think it would be a fun, new, inventive way of approaching these comic book movies. And if anybody should be doing that right now, it is DC Studios, because they are starting fresh and new with this universe. And I think this is a great way to do that.
I'm with you, Slav. I think that he would be probably still the perfect guy to do it too, even though it's his story. Weapons is, I don't know. I mean, you don't seem up on weapons, but I know it's been popular like Sinners was.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, and movies like those are like rare anymore.
Yeah, Sinners
But
for me was far better than
sign me up.
Weapons, but I get the appeal of Weapons. I say this all the time. Those types of movies just don't do it for me. They just don't. I literally, I went to the theater a couple weeks ago, saw that and Naked Weapon. I did a double feature day at the theaters for those two. Naked Gun was by far the better of the two movies, in my opinion. But Weapons, I mean, it was
I've
just,
heard a lot
again,
of good things.
it wasn't my kind of film. It's just, was it shot well? Sure, but it's just I don't like those movies. They do nothing for
You don't
me.
like spooky movies?
What's that?
You don't like spooky movies or like true stories based on stuff like
Well,
that?
first off, it's not based on a true story. Secondly, if I want to watch a horror movie, I want to be scared. There was nothing to be afraid of in this movie. It was not scary at all. And
Fair enough.
it was like the premise of the idea of Weapons was interesting. It was cool. It was kind of like, these kids from one single classroom, all but one go missing in the middle of the night. That is a cool premise. That's a cool idea. They start to build on it, but then they kind of just don't go there with it. It just kind of stops, and it's just kind of like, like
Get you.
don't like go do more with it. It wasn't enough, and yeah, it just wasn't great in my eyes. But that's all right. It's I know for some people they're gonna love it because it's their kind of film. For me, it just doesn't work because those movies don't work for me. I took my two of my boys with me. One of them loved it. He was, I won't say he loved it. He was scared shitless most of the time because he's like that with horror films. He's afraid of horror films. The other one just kind of after it, he was like, "What the heck did we just watch?" And I was like, "Dude, I thought it was terrible." So all three of us had different experiences with the movie. It's just,
That's funny.
that's how it is. So yeah, but I am looking forward. I think this is a cool idea from Krager. Like I said, I think this would be fun to do for sure.
I mean, technically, we already got like this perspective in a video game called DC Villains, Lego DC Villains. But like,
Yeah, but again, remember, like that's a
It would
video
be
game.
cool as a movie, though.
This would be a movie
It'd be
where a
cool
lot
as a
of
movie.
people would get to see it. Like, this is a movie that
right?
people, the mainstream audience would get to watch. So that is where it would be cool.
But I
all
really
right.
think that if that's stalking part is like true of Batman, that'll be like a sick perspective, dude.
It would be. Yeah, it'd be different. Moving on to the next topic. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments below about Zach Krager's idea for a henchman film. The next thing I want to talk about is the Duffer Brothers. Now, the Duffer Brothers created a whirlwind about, almost a decade ago when they introduced the world to the Upside Down and Stranger Things on
TV show ever.
Netflix. Over the last, what's been like 9 years really, that Stranger Things has been in the zeitgeist of pulp culture. And finally, the final season is going to release here in just weeks at this point. I mean, we are
November.
Yeah, I mean, we're a couple months away, which is
Thanksgiving.
finally. But with the end of Stranger Things comes, the end of their tenure at Netflix, as they have signed an exclusive deal with Paramount. After Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers, the creators of Netflix Stranger Things, have signed a massive exclusive deal with Paramount for film and TV projects after Stranger Things' final season. They are reuniting with executive Cindy Holland. They see creative freedom for new narratives. This shift bolsters Paramount's content push while challenging Netflix's dominance. I think this is a great move.
I got an idea for them.
I really think this is a great move for them because Netflix is kind of holding them back. Netflix doesn't like to do theatrical releases. They want to do films and TV projects. They have these big ideas like Stranger Things. They could build a interconnective world that is both TV and movies or things like that. I think, who knows what their ideas are, but there we go. After a few weeks ago, things have been going crazy with them. They've been doing deal after deal, the UFC deal, now this, and there's another one we're going to talk about potentially, quote unquote, potentially. This whole thing is crazy, and grabbing talent like this is not a bad move. But what's your idea? What do you think is going to happen here?
I think they should give them and this IP another try because Paramount butchered it. Do you have any guess?
I do not.
Halo.
Ah, Halo.
They butchered it, and I think they should give it another shot with the Duffer Brothers.
I would be all for that. Absolutely. I think that would be a great move. I'm worried that they may pull them into the Star Trek universe over there. I'm kind of worried about that. I hope they
Yeah,
don't.
the Star Trek universe is like at the lowest it can be, the lowest of
Yeah.
lows right now.
Yeah, I hope they don't. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think if they bring them over, the world is their oyster. They have so much that they can do, and I think Paramount's going to give them full backing on anything they want to do after the success of Stranger Things. This kind of reminds me of who was it? Game of Thrones guys. With Benioff and Weiss. Is that who they were?
I forget.
I think Benioff and Weiss is who they
I'm
were.
not sure.
After Game of Thrones was so successful, all of a sudden they signed a deal here, a deal there. They were supposed to do that deal with Lucasfilm for a trilogy of Star Wars movies, and then didn't they sign with
That's
Netflix
right.
even? Like they were getting all these deals, but ended up nothing.
They have their opportunity to make their name even more without Stranger Things.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Not wrong. All right, moving on. Now it looks like we're still live. I don't know, guys. If there's anybody in the chat, I know this is crazy and terrible. Like this is the worst show I've had in a long time. So I apologize if you're still in the chat. Let us know. Man, this is terrible.
You're doing all right, man.
It happens. It happens. All right. Speaking of Paramount,
It happens, right?
there is rumor, or people have been bringing up this thought and idea that Paramount may be looking to buy Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers Discovery or just Warner Brothers portion of Warner Brothers Discovery. And this is coming because of the idea that Warner Brothers cut roughly 10% of its workforce at the end of July. And honestly, I think this is ridiculous. Skydance just did this whole merger with Paramount. They're doing this whole thing that they're trying to get their self on strong footing. And to bring in the debt that Warner Brothers has right now would be absolutely ridiculous and stupid. I think at this point, at this juncture, moving forward just by themselves and putting their own footing, their solid footing on ground and moving forward is the right move for Paramount. That's not to say, look, I know I have said for many years that I believe that when all is said and done, we're going to see like 3 to 4 major conglomerate studios out there. But it's just not happening yet. I think that's still a ways away. But right now, Paramount just has to build its stock back up itself. I mean, and they're doing that. I think the moves they're making is very smart. Plus, the guy who owns Skydance has a crap ton of money. And they don't need right now to get this Warner Brothers catalog in there yet. I know it seems enticing to a lot of people who are sitting there talking about it, like, ooh, if Paramount got that Warner Brothers catalog and HBO and everything like that, that would be amazing for them. Absolutely. But I don't think they have the money to do that and also to take on that debt. Number two, Warner Brothers is on the look. I know people don't want to agree and admit this, but they are looking to be on the way up right now. With all this stuff that they're doing, all the reorganization that they're doing, as well as all the big hits that they've I won't say hits, but all the big wins that they've been getting in the theaters lately, this is the trajectory of moving up. Yes, it's going to take time for them, but they gotta keep moving. Will they sell eventually? Maybe. It's possible. Maybe. I've always said that it's a possibility. Will they go to Universal? Will they go to Paramount? Will they go to Apple? Will they go? Who knows where they're going to go? But regardless, I don't think it's going to happen right now, and I don't think it's going to be Paramount. What do you think?
I think a certain group likes to start rumors as usual, but
yeah.
But if they sell it, I would probably be a fan of Universal more than Paramount, because Paramount, look what they did with Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, just IPs, and I mean, they didn't even bother getting someone that knows about the games. But my point, but if anybody, it would probably be Universal that I would get behind if they sell
Well,
it.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not so much who you get behind, it's also who's going to have the least amount of troubles, clearing the hurdles of all the legal troubles. Disney would
Right.
never be able to buy Warner Brothers. There's too large already, and the
It's a monopoly already. And they
yeah
already
the government's never
it's
going
like,
to say
it's like
okay.
Microsoft.
Universal, they're huge already. Like they're with Universal, with
Right.
Comcast, all that kind of stuff. They may say no. Then you have places like Paramount. They're a little smaller. That seems doable, but right now I don't see it happening. What is Apple doing? Apple's been kind of kicking around the
Apple
can.
would be cool.
They've been, there's been rumors that they've been looking at maybe acquiring a bigger studio. Hell, there was rumors that they may acquire Disney at one point in time. Then there was talk about Apple and Sony, and then there was about so there's those rumors going around. So it's possible at some juncture that it's going to happen. I think any studio is going to want to wait and see what the next maybe 2 or 3
You're right,
years
Nico.
brings for Warner than what's going on right now.
Nico's right.
Nico says they're both kind of bad. Just look at what Universal did to Jurassic World. Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of people
It
look
made
at
money.
a lot of people look at just like look at what they're doing to a movie franchise or just a movie franchise or a IP or what have you. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's about how they're running a company. It's about how they're the conglomerate as a whole. Take a look at NBC Universal Comcast as a whole. All right, so you're looking at Universal. You're looking at Universal and how they ran Jurassic World, but you take a look at their whole conglomerate. Look at NBC. It's they have how many hits on television. Look at Peacock. How many hits are there? I'm not saying Peacock is the greatest streaming service, but they have hits after hits after hits after hits on there. They have the Dick Wolf stuff, which is the Law and Orders, the Chicago series, all that kind of stuff. Then you have Comcast, which is the cable company and the phone company, so they have that. Plus they have all the Universal movies that just is from animation on up. So they have a lot of stuff. You can't just look at one or two IPs. Same when it comes to Paramount. Sure, Paramount looks rough when it comes to Halo, but then you have but yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the grand scheme of things overall, I think it's just going to be one of those things that, yeah, it's going to happen when it happens if it happens. I don't think it's going to be Paramount buying Warner Brothers now or anytime soon. Let's see. Nico says Warner Brothers is one doing good right now so far. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Chris says I thought Paramount was bigger than Universal.
No.
Trayvon says if Steve Jobs was still alive, I can assure you that Apple would have bought Disney before they got their hands on Lucasfilm and Fox. Maybe, but they got their hand on Lucasfilm. Wasn't that
Maybe.
right around when Steve Jobs died? Or was it right after? Or I don't know.
Yes. I think it was right after.
Trayvon says not even close. Universal is way bigger than Paramount right now. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Hunter Iggy wants me to answer this. He goes, what are your thoughts on James Gunn's Superman might be ending around at $620 million box office? That's good. It's solid. I mean,
That's solid.
I thought it was. I thought it was going to hit 7.
I'm like satisfied.
Yeah. Did we want more? Yes, we wanted more.
Yes.
But you take a look at 2025. Take a look at 23, 24, 25 right now.
Inflation.
Look at the genre. Look at what's going on with comic books right now, the comic book movie genre. It is struggling.
Inflation in the economy too.
I'm not even cared. Like, don't even look at inflation. Don't look at inflation. Don't look at anything like that. Just look at the genre. Look at it. That's what people don't seem to get. And I'm not saying you, Derpy. I'm just saying people don't seem to understand that the genre right now is at a low point, a very low point. Look, in 2023,
because the ideas they put into the comics.
in 2023, the average box office for comic book movies was $393 million. That's the average. In 2024, it was $453 million. In 2025, right now, as we sit right now, it may change. It may, because Fantastic Four and Superman are still in there. It's about $460 million, roughly. That's the average box office right now. That is lower than it has been since before, like 2012, 2014, something like that. Like, it hasn't been that low in a decade or more. So, like, people don't understand or realize, like, hey, the genre isn't what it used to be. People are not going to see these movies like they used to be. Is it because they're sick of the genre? It could be. Westerns are the same thing. Like, Westerns went through the same thing. People used to go see Westerns all the time, and they kind of, went away. Horror films, they went through a huge resurgence in the 80s and 90s. And then in the 2000s, they died off, and then they're coming back with a resurgence again in a different way. Like, it's a different type of horror film now. We saw it with action films. Look at the 80s and 90s with the action, the macho man, macho action films of like Schwarzenegger and Stallone and things like that. And then those went away. Like, we see these things go in like cyclical ways where they're big for a while, then they go away, and then they come back again. So we're just in a downturn right now when it comes to comic book movies. That doesn't mean that they're going to go away. It's just our expectations can't be what they were 10, 15 years ago, for their box office and their return. But that also means that the studios have to adapt and not make a movie for $400 million, $300 million. They have to make them for a bit lower, so it comes in at a better return. But I think
it's funny that Fantastic Four.
You think it's funny that Fantastic Four is doing crap?
Yeah. They had an 80% drop-off on week 2. And I think that's hilarious.
Well, that's a great segue to talk about the next subject here. So, Marvel Studios, they decided to up and leave the United States and head to the UK for all their production. That's right. So from the New York Post and a lot of other things, Marvel basically has stated that they are moving most of its future productions to the United Kingdom. This is a decision that has rattled Georgia, once a booming Hollywood of the South, because they did a lot of their filming in Georgia. Now, why is this happening? The biggest reason is the cost. They basically... Now, Georgia was famous for a 30% film tax credit, but now UK is offering an equally competitive tax break, and when you combine it with their lower operating expenses, Marvel isn't sacrificing any financial benefits by moving overseas. As well as labor and benefits are another factor. When it comes to Britain, crews are paid less on average, studios don't need to provide health insurance, and so on and so forth. So they decided to pull out of America, pull out of Georgia, and they're heading over to the UK. Now, this isn't the first studio to do something like this. Even DC Studios just not long ago stated they're building that studio in Leavesdale, I don't know, I can't say words, over in London. So they're planting their studio in London as well. But why? Like, is this something that we want to see? I don't think it is. I mean, look, Georgia used to be huge. It used to have in 2022, it had 412 films and TV projects. Now they're down to about 240. That's how many. Yeah, I mean, they're down to almost half of what they were doing before. So the reason why I brought this up is because I think it's important to realize that there's this shift going on in Hollywood right now. Hollywood, specifically, LA, has no movies film in LA anymore at all. Movies have been filming in Toronto and Vancouver and Georgia, things like that. Different places around the United States and Canada, and even over in London for quite some time. I think it was Marky Mark. I talked about this months ago. Marky Mark and a couple other people were trying to build a huge studio complex near Las Vegas, Nevada, to make it the new Hollywood, essentially, because just how crazy taxes have been, just how crazy things are going in California. But what needs to happen is we need to start seeing better tax incentives for these film studios. They need to start investing in more infrastructure to keep these productions and studios in America, because you're taking jobs away. And it sucks to see, because as a fan of film, as a fan of Hollywood, I want to see those things filmed here. I want to see friends. Look, there's a guy that I follow on Twitter. Not just follow. He became an acquaintance of mine. We started following each other just on Twitter. I don't know him personally. I never met him, but we started following each other on Twitter. We started talking, and he's in an upcoming film. He's somebody who is an actor. I don't know if he even has a speaking role. I think he got paid for it, but he's in an upcoming Timothée Chalamet movie that just had a trailer drop. And he wouldn't have been able to do that if they weren't filming in America. If they were just filming all these films elsewhere, he wouldn't have had a chance to do that. So to me, this is the kind of stuff that just aggravates me and how everything's going in today's world, and how everything is playing out. And it's kind of crazy that we've seen this slowly happening, but I think it's now coming to a point where it's hey, there may be a point where it's not. It's going to be harder to come back now than it has ever been. With all these studios getting built out there now, these when I say studios, I'm saying the actual physical brick and mortar studios. These studio heads aren't going to want to move their stuff back to America. So what do you think about all this?
There's a time where, how do I put this? There comes a time where movies transcend, I guess. This is one of those eras, I guess. AI is coming, so it's hard to believe we're already in that, but we already learned this from eras and eras ago. We were warned that technology was going to be like this, and maybe they're scared of technology.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. AI is here. AI is going to be here forever. I actually have very different take than a lot of other people have with AI. I think I like to use it as a tool. I understand some people don't like it, but I think even Hollywood wants to utilize it as a tool. They just want to know how to use it properly. I don't think it's AI. Right. I think when it comes to this kind of stuff, it comes down to cost. I think it comes down to what's going to be the cheapest way for them to make these movies. When they can go into a forest, into a forest, and they can go to a forest in the UK, or they can go into a forest in Georgia, and it's essentially going to look the same. They can make any town look like any town in the United States, no matter where they go. So it's
Don't they have that? What's it called still? The volume? Or did they not use
they
volume?
have the first volume was built in London. They do have another one. I don't know if it's the same scale, but I believe they do have another one in Los Angeles as well, or maybe it's Vancouver. Okay. It's one of the two. It's somewhere over.
I think it's Vancouver. I think it's Vancouver. But
Gilbert joined. He goes, "What's up? Finally, I joined a live stream. My question is, what are your top 3 superhero movies?" What's going on, Gilbert? Thanks for joining. You joined the
That's a great
worst stream because everything is going wrong technically today. But thank you for joining. Having
That's
so
a
many
great
technical
question.
problems today. Yeah, I mean my top 3 favorite superhero movies. Number 1 is Man of Steel. Has been for since 2013. So yeah, that's my number 1. It's one of my top. After that, my next few. I love The Incredibles. The Incredibles is fantastic. I think it's one of my favorite. Probably in my top 3, absolutely. And then after that, I honestly, I'm gonna have to say, Batman Begins. That's what I'll have to say. It's probably a tie between Batman Begins and Spider-Man 2, but right now I'm going to lean towards Batman Begins because that's where I'm leaning right now. So that's what I'd say are my top 3.
I got mine.
What are yours?
The Dark Knight, of course. Winter Soldier. And the first Avengers.
See, then you got me thinking. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be in my top 5, maybe even my top 3. I love the Winter Soldier. Like, it's tough. Like, it's tough to, after that number 1 spot. After that number 1 for me, it just kind of falls in there, for sure. But yeah, I do love it. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is Green Arrow. James Gunn states that Green Arrow, he doesn't actually know if he's in the DCU or not. He goes, "I'm not willing to say. We don't have a Green Arrow as part of our system yet, so maybe Green Arrow exists or maybe he doesn't. I'm not sure." How do you feel about this? I've seen some people kind of upset that they're like, "How do you not know? You don't know everything? Come on, man. How do you not know?" But then I've seen some people are like, "Hey, it is what it is." Like, they're still building out the DCU, and yeah, I mean, it's in flux. Like, at some point in time, they're going to say, "Oh, this story is perfect for Ollie," and here's his backstory. He's been there the whole time, and here we go. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, they haven't found a way to fit him in, so they don't know. What do you think?
I think the only way they could probably introduce him is probably through Justice League.
I disagree. Wait until you see my video coming up.
Okay. I'll have to watch it. But I think that, I mean, I found out, what's it called, Green Arrow? I found out through, like, his character through Justice League Unlimited, so that's just me, though. And I think that would probably be the only way to do it. But that's just me.
Yeah. No, I see. For me, like, Oliver is I think more of a supporting character than anything else, for sure. I think it'd be difficult to make a whole film on him unless you get an actor who starts off as a supporting character and then becomes a fan favorite. So for me, I would put him in some sort of supporting role in some sort of project. Which leads me to, guys, I do have a video. I just recorded it earlier today. I have to edit it up, and hopefully I'm shooting for early next week, guys. That's my goal, but I got to edit it early next week. It will be a what if I did the first chapter of the DCU. How would I have done it? So there's a little tease for you about Green Arrow in there for you.
Oh no, he's about to cook.
You can guarantee that Green Arrow will be in it. But yeah, so that's coming. Like I said, I recorded it today, and I just got to get it edited, and it will be up, like I said, hopefully early next week. So keep on the lookout for that. I also have some other videos I've been talking about, such as more in-depth videos. Over the last couple weeks, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been doing in-depth videos. I did one about Franklin Richards. I did one about Brainiac last week. This week is going to be about Doctor Doom. So if you want to learn more about these characters, every Thursday moving forward, I'm putting them out on Thursdays. Every Thursday, that's my goal. Every Thursday moving forward, I should have a deep dive into some sort of lore, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, or DC. I'm going to try and alternate through them. So be on the lookout for that. It's just a nice little... I'm going to keep it less than 10 minutes long. That's my goal. But it will be a little deep dive on something within that lore. So keep a lookout for that. So just some things that are coming up on the channel. I thought you guys would like to hear. Keep it in line with DC. Sean Gunn says James Gunn's DCU embraces a unique vision of different storytellers and makes it similar to comics. You know, what I love...
He's right.
What I love about this and hearing this is it just solidifies everything that I've heard and have told you guys.
It's different than Marvel.
It is different
Besides
than Marvel.
the tone.
So,
Besides the tone.
Sean Gunn was speaking to the Wrap at Fan Expo Chicago on Sunday and admitted that fans are not going to see a ton of him in the Peacemaker series, as the character is still slowly being seeded in. But he himself has now seen enough of his brother's vision for the DCU that he can confidently say it's a playground for creators. He said, "What I get most excited about is the idea of all these things living in the same world, but having freedom to having freedom to be the unique vision of whatever storyteller is telling the story. So all these different stories live in the same world, but they have different creators, and they can be different genres even. You may have something that's a little more horror bent.
Doggo. You tell him, Doggo.
Yeah. You have something that's a little more horror bent or a little more dramatic bent, in addition to the action movies and more superhero kind of fare. And I love that," he continued. "I love the idea of even playing a character who you need to adjust what they're doing because the genre is a little different." He noted that it's not only a challenge for actors, but also fun for audience members who will get to see more shades of their favorite characters depending on what project they're appearing in. He says it makes it similar to comics in that comics have the freedom to have their own unique voice within the series that they're in, but also those characters have a center that you don't always want to deviate, he said. So I'm really excited to see how it all looks after a few years. I don't know that he always knows the long-term vision, he explained. Speaking of James Gunn, his brother. He has bullet points for where things need to go, and he keeps his eye on telling a great story and never deviating from that part of it. I love this coming from Sean, because this is not coming from James. This is coming from, yes, I know it's his brother. I know it's somebody who, James is going to trust, obviously, and who isn't going to talk bad on James. But what's great about this is this really explains and dives deep into understanding what they're going with and what they're going for when it comes to the DCU. Something that I've been trying to make sure everybody understands from the get-go. This is not like Marvel. This is not like what we've seen before. This is going to be, very, very artistic driven, very writer and director driven. This is going to be something that you have an idea, come and tell us. If the script is great and it fits the world, we'll make it fit. Let's get it going. So what do you think?
Slav, have you ever watched so my example for this that is you ever watched Star Wars Visions?
I have, yes.
Like the anime. So that's my example of what they're going for and why I think that's why he refers to it as Star Wars. But in Star Wars Visions, basically there's these like short 12-minute short, like the most stories that are told through different artists and different writers, and I think that's what my example of person to what he's referring Sean Gunn is. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to that. I think it's I think the best way to put it, I don't remember who said it. I can't remember who it was that said it. But they called it like graphic novels. Like each, I think it was
Right.
Craig Gillespie, actually, the director of Supergirl. He's the one that said, I think he said, like,
I can't wait for that movie.
each movie or each director gets to come in and basically tell a graphic novel within this universe. So it's basically their footprint in this universe. And to me, I think that is such a great way to approach it and look at it because, look, you're going in this universe, you're telling a story, it's your footprint. Yes, it's going to fit and it's going to have this potentially overarching storyline, but you're allowed to tell the story that you want to tell. And that to me, I think, is going to work great. I know a lot of people are getting mad about this whole Peacemaker thing that's going on right now, where people have said, well, James Gunn says that you have to, if you watch this Peacemaker season 2, there's a lot of connections to Superman and it really builds out the world of the DCU. Well, that's because for him, that's his story he wants to tell. That's him being the artist there. But then Supergirl is going to be different. Right. Clayface is going to be different. And that's, people just, they can't
Lanterns.
grasp. They're so simple-minded and so single vision and everything. And it's
different too.
They can't see the forest through the trees. It's just, oh, you said this, James Gunn, so, yep, you're wrong, you lied, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, you're only looking at this right here. First off, what he said is very true. He is the creator and the vision of this show. So his vision is this, and expanding the DCU with this show. And it works for this show. But Supergirl's going to be this. Clayface is going to be this. Lanterns is going to be this. This is going to be this. But they refuse to listen to that because to them it's not about that. And it's pathetic. It really is pathetic. And I can't wait for Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker is going to be fantastic. I think Peacemaker's I think it's going to be so much fun. Absolutely so much fun. We're just a few days away from it, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this show. I just hate that we have to watch one episode a week because I just want to take it all in right now. Just give it all to me because I am.
At least it leads up to October though, which will give us a month out of till Stranger Things.
True. Yeah.
So that'll work.
Sacred Source Authority says, I love it. So soon after Superman, they are already building on it. Brilliant. And he says, and it's multiversal. It's actually, so James Gunn actually in the latest podcast for Peacemaker clarifies it's not necessarily multiversal. It's more interdimensional, which is a little different. He kind of clarifies that. But yeah, sort of. Hunter Iggy says, what are your thoughts on Sean O'Rourke posts say, I told you James Gunn would make Panama Kent rednecks? First off, I don't even care. Like, they can be rednecks.
I don't care either.
Sure, let them be rednecks.
They were perfect as Panama. I don't care.
They were hilarious. I loved them. I wanted to hug them. I wanted to go and hang out on their farm with them. Like, they were perfect. I loved them. So, yeah.
I'm glad they didn't have any depressing dialogue saying let them die or die by a tornado either.
Exactly.
But I digress.
Oh, man. All right. So, anyways, we got through this difficult show here.
Yes.
It was difficult. We got through it, though. Technical difficulties and all. We got through it. Hopefully, next...
Wi-Fi gone.
Yeah, hopefully my Wi-Fi's fixed by then. Crazy thing is, the Watchtower this Friday, we will have seen Peacemaker episode 1. Season 2, episode 1, I should say. So we can talk all about that on the upcoming Watchtower. That's the benefit of having a Peacemaker episode every week, because that gives me content for the Watchtower. So.
Is that Friday, right?
Yes, I'm doing Watchtowers on Fridays currently.
Can we push it to maybe 10:30?
10:30? I don't see why not.
Because I do the stats for a football team, so I won't be done till like 10:30.
Yeah, I should be able to push it to 10:30. We can talk about that offline though, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anyways, thank you, Derpy, for joining. Where can people find you?
They can find me on here, Derpy Entertainment, YouTube. They can find me at Twitch, Derpy_Entertainment. They can find me on Kick, Random Derpster. They can find me on Twitter, on X, Dirtman2929, and then they can find me on Instagram, Dirtman2929.
Perfect. And guys, again, thank you for checking out the show today. Sorry for all of the issues, the technical issues. Thank you for sticking around if you did. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. Check out all the videos that are going to drop this week, next week, and everything in between. It should be a lot of fun. Working my way up to that 3,000 subscriber count. We're about a little over 500 away from 3,000. I think it's a little over 500 away from 3,000 subscribers. So I'd love to hit that before year's end. So, yeah, guys, thank you all so much. With all that said, I'll catch you all.
Can I say something?
Yeah, what's up?
Like and subscribe to Slav or Dance. What Snyder will start a rumor about you. Jeff Snyder will start a rumor about you.
Oh, whoops. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. There we go. Who's starting this a rumor? What's going on?
Snyderwood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like and subscribe, all that stuff. All right, guys. Take it easy. I will talk at all of you at the end of this week. See ya.